Hey, what's up, guys? It's Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. So I wanted to let you guys know about something that was really sketch that apparently just happened. It's kind of confusing on what time exactly this went down. It looked and appeared to be live, but then parts of the video were being looped. Now, if you were not aware, of course, Kamala was visiting over in the Koreas, and she was at the DMZ. And I don't know what news agency I just watched this clip on, and I don't know if it's going to be on all of them. But oddly enough, I was told and gave a link to a TikTok live that was a live, supposed live, screening of what happened with the South Korean president and what happened when they went to the DMZ. So the part that is really sketch, and I will tell you, I actually had butterflies in my stomach watching, was when Kamala went to the DMZ zone, and instantly you recognize it. It's the place where T-Man, our last president, basically walked up and shook Kim's hand. They did the same thing, and they had like 40 people around, the whole entourage. And what ended up happening was they stood there, and all these camera people are arguing. I've never seen this where it was so unprofessional. People were in front. And this must have been like a small news agency that wasn't one of the big ones, because they were just kind of fit in there. And it's crazy because they kept looping. They looped her legs and they went up. They looped her legs after something weird happened. Some people were saying, "Hey, you up in front, get down." And people were arguing about being in the way. There was a gentleman that was trying to corral people and saying, "You can't stand there, move back, blah, blah, blah. This is what I want you to do." And everybody's like, "Okay, buddy," like, well, and they're arguing. And this is on, if this wouldn't have happened on Fox or CNN or anything like that. But I don't know. This is at the DMZ. You see the two like light blue creepy buildings, and then you see the other side, which is NK. And one shot actually zoomed up, and there was a guy in like a tracksuit hoodie leaning out the window, and it almost looked like he was just sitting there waiting to do something. It was awkwardly silent for a moment. Kamala has some sort of general or some sort of sergeant right next to her, and they're talking, and they're basically, just sitting there for a minute, and all of the camera people are arguing. Literally, I've never seen something so unprofessional in my life. Maybe that's just how we roll now. It didn't look planned. It might have not looked planned to make it look like it was unplanned. I don't know. Maybe it was planned to make it look so unorganized, but people were arguing about where they were going to be. It seemed to me like probably what the behind the scenes would be if they were at the DMZ. Now, right afterwards, she goes and speaks and says that the DPRK, she literally says, the DPRK apparently has ballistic missiles. She literally said that. And I'm like, this is the VP here saying that they apparently have ballistic missiles. I don't know if that was her like tongue-in-cheek, humor, but this gave me the creeps. This gave me the butterflies, because something is brewing. Something is most definitely being set up. They went to, of course, they went there to meet, and then they're doing all of the drills. We have Xi doing drills with amphibious vehicles and civilian ferries. We have Finland practicing and shutting down highways to essentially land jets on. These are all things we've covered in the last week, and most of them in the last 48 hours. Meanwhile, we have this storm in the United States. We have the hurricane that has essentially taken all of the news. Meanwhile, Kamala's sitting at the DMZ, at our time. I don't know when exactly it happened, but it showed it was live at like, 1:45 our time. And I don't know exactly when it ended up. I know that she met with the South Korean president probably earlier. But this whole scene here, and then it got awkward, and then you hear a bunch of people saying, "We're leaving, we gotta go, we packed up. But yet she's sitting there at the halfway point where a T-Man actually met somebody. You see her meet with like 4 soldiers, and it looks like our soldiers or South Korean soldiers on that border. What were they expecting? Were they expecting for Kim Jong to come out? Were they expecting for some sort of representation to come out? And then they got spooked, so they just left. It was really, really weird. And then you hear people say, you got to leave. You got to leave. We got to leave. We're packed up. And you see all these there was about 4 women arguing with each other saying, we got our stuff. We're going to go. We're going to go. We're going to go. And I don't know if that's normal for, like, you know, when they kind of push the VP or the prez, you know, to the next place, like, hey, we got to go. I know they're pretty pushy with outside people, but it seemed like this was in the DMZ right on the border. None of these people were like, you know, just regular people. It's not like they're going through a crowd at a concert venue or something and they're clearing people out. These are all people with clearance or military, or they're supposed to be there. So this whole thing was super sketch. And if you see the same video I did, and I'll see what little news station this was. Obviously you can see that there's, I believe it was a South Korean news agency. If anybody can read that. It was like JPTCS or whatever, and it was showing it supposedly live on TikTok, but it then looped, and it was weird. It got to a point where she was standing there talking, and then all of a sudden it started looping. It went down to her feet, and then looped up, then went down to her feet, looped up, and you see the same hand come in the frame, and you see the same hat. And then you even hear them arguing about, hey, you up in the front with the hat, you got to go. I mean, it just seemed to me like it was totally... It was totally chaotic, and like there was something shady about to go down. I honestly thought when I was watching this and thinking like, oh my gosh, look at this. So I do have a clip of this. So I did get the last part where the guy's like telling him where to stand. And I'll try, this is a cell phone. So let's see here. The whole thing is just absolutely creepy. Let me full screen this.
Folks, if everyone can go back this way for me.
Why is it on a loop?
See, it started looping and you can see the hand. This supposedly happened. News agencies are now just putting this out.
They're completely unorganized.
She's coming this way. Guys, I need you to move where Chris is. Chris is a perfect example of where I need you to be.
I mean, it was chaotic. It was unorganized. By the way, this clip is on my Twitter, @Marfoogle, so go over there and follow to see that clip that I did. And I'll just tell you this, like this was shady. It seemed like I almost thought that I was going to see her somehow, something was going to happen, and then boom, something was going to kick off. I feel like there's a lot of things brewing all at once. You, of course, had the supposed event on Nord Stream pipeline, which sets up everybody to be pissed off at Vlad. Permanent damage, maybe indefinitely shut off from Europe. You have Finland doing what they're doing. You have Poland, what you're doing. And then in the last couple of weeks, they have handed out iodine tablets to all of Europe. They're saying that they're going to use tactical nukes. Yes, you could take all of this and say, oh, it's just all fear-mongering. It's all a big circus. But they can only do that so long without something to back it up. And most of these things always coincide with the drills. We have been following every single drill that has happened. And right now, drills and exercises, by the way, and especially the massive ones, these are how they can move massive amounts of military into place and not cause any kind of alarm. Right now, Xi is doing these amphibious drills where he's got these amphibious vehicles that can roll out to the civilian ferry that has its 160-foot drop ship type thing down, and then they roll up on it. They're practicing to take Taiwan. The fact that we got just a few days ago information from CIA intelligence, and it was plastered all over the place saying, we know that Xi just told his men to be ready in 2027. That's 5 years away. Why would you be drilling and doing all these things right now for it to happen in 5 years? That doesn't make any sense. Half of your fighting force will be either different or out of the military by then. I don't know how long where their fighting age runs from. I don't even know what their terms are. But here, most people do 4 years, right? I don't know what their terms are, but you wouldn't want to drill but you wouldn't want to do a wedding rehearsal 6 months before the wedding. It doesn't make sense. You do it the day before and then you do it. In wartime, you'd probably do it a year before at most. That's what we saw with Vlad. So this is very, very odd. I basically heard about this since midnight from somebody, and I was glad that I caught at least what I think was live. And I just have to say, I'm glad I caught this. I'm glad I stayed up for it because, man, it is absolutely nuts. I'm going to get to sleep. You guys have a wonderful night. We'll be covering this. I'll have links. I will try to find which news agency. I know I can find which news agency. It's on that clip. And I will try to post everything on the website by morning, marfooglenews.com. Make sure to go over there. You can also go to marfooglenews.com/prep. You can go to marfooglenews.com/energy, INERGY, if you want to get a solar generator. And you can go to marfooglenews.com/EMP if you want to protect yourself against that. Those are all just simple things that you can do to further, prepare yourself for any kind of event. So I would highly recommend it. I know that Florida could have, a lot of people in Florida could have done that prior. There's a lot of transplants that ended up staying. I'm praying for the people in Florida. It really turned out to be a horrendous storm. Of course, we updated that on our other channel, our sister channel, Marfoogle TV. So make sure to go over to the show that was done tonight. Earlier tonight, a few hours ago, that show, we did a bunch of videos showing kind of what is going on there. So make sure to go to there, and thank you everybody that showed up, and share this out like wildfire. Make sure, the main point is people need to be aware of what's going on right now. People need to understand that this isn't just local. This is around the world. Something is brewing. And it's not to scare people. It's more to let people know so it's in the back of their head. So when it does happen, they have some sort of plan. People need to meet with families. It doesn't matter where you live. You could obviously have an earthquake, a hurricane, a storm, a blackout, a rolling blackout, something that's forced. All of these things could happen to any one of us. It doesn't mean that you focus your entire life and be scared and sit in a bunker until it happens. It means that you do little things to prepare for the unmentionables, the thing that nobody wants to happen, most likely does happen. And if you look at the patterns, history is repeating itself. We are looking at what happened before WW2 in like 50 different similarities. And now we have more countries in the world than any other time in my lifetime, all doing something strange. So this is all to follow up the CV from 2019. Just buckle up, people. That's all I have to say. We'll see you on tomorrow's show. Again, around 7 o'clock tomorrow night, we'll have our normal show on our sister channel, Marfoogle TV. Have a good night. Get some good rest, or have a good cup of coffee if you're on the East Coast. Have a good night or a good day. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out.